Is New World dead again? Well, the answer to that is probably yes, depending on how you want to define that. It's not a secret, but the play numbers are heading downwards, and I think that's a trend we're going to see for the foreseeable future. However, I do think things will bounce back, just not yet. Knowing that a lot of you are a little bit frustrated with New World at the moment, I do want to point you over to my second channel, Jay Evenly. Here is where I'm primarily talking about Throne and Liberty right now. However, obviously if that game's not good, I'll talk about something else. But if you want to be kept up to date with everything Throne and Liberty, then this is the channel for you. Okay, so let's jump into actually having a look at the player numbers. And we'll start by having a look at the graph, right? So we always have a look at the graph. We can see the launch, we can see the Brimstone hype, and then we can see the players numbers heading down. And the reason I'm doing this video now is because we can actually see the total numbers for January. Now let's zoom in a little bit because, you know, we know when they launched and we know what's happened since. Now I have to say, when it got to about this point here in December, like right at the end of December, I thought it was going to sort of level off there because, I don't know, the numbers just sort of look like it was going to do that. However, they are keeping like going down. It's not a surprise, they are just going down. You can see the average in the last 30 days is 27,000, and you can see in January it was 28,000. The reality is that's not very useful because obviously we've not had weekends and stuff like that, but the play numbers are heading down, and 28,000, if we go back to March and between February last year, that's about what we were having then, right? And the reality is we're not going to get content that's going to bump this back up probably for any like significant amount of time. I think we're like 6 months away from that personally. The last time I did this, I was sort of asking the question, how low will it go? It's really hard to say because some people who did play Brimstone and stuff like that will continue to play, but I think we're getting to the point where some people will get distracted by other games. One obvious game that people will be looking at will be Hogwarts Legacy. That's out in just a couple of days, and then beyond that we're going to have like Diablo. Obviously we've got Throne and Liberty, which we're not 100% sure when that's going to release, but if that releases in the next 6 months, then that will probably take a lot of New World's audience. Then there'll be a Final Fantasy game in summer as well with Diablo. There's going to be games that come out and they're going to slowly chip away at New World's market because New World's not necessarily adding that much content. Content is king. Essentially, it isn't the player's responsibility to wait around for content. They'll go off and enjoy their own enjoyment. You know what I mean? If they enjoy Hogwarts Legacy, they'll go and play that. If they want to play another MMO, maybe they're already playing WoW. Maybe they're just going to wait for Throne and Liberty. Players will do whatever they are finding the most interesting. Obviously, the next update for New World is the leaderboards. Let's face it, that is going to do absolutely nothing for the play numbers. I also think it's going to be a net loss for the game. I just don't think it's a good feature at all. But leaderboards are coming on the 7th of Feb. And then we probably will get an interesting patch, but not one that I think will move the numbers in any meaningful way. It looks like then we'll probably get on the PTR the spring patch. I thought there was going to be a patch between the spring patch and December. Well, there is, but it's just leaderboards. I don't think we're going to get something else squeezed in between. I think then the actual spring patch will go on the PTR this month and in the next week or so. And I think that one's going to be very interesting for the people who are still playing New World, but I don't think it's necessarily going to bring people back. Yes, a new expedition is great. Gear set storage will be amazing to see as long as they do it vaguely correctly. The spring event, I mean, it depends what's on it, right? And then obviously we have the combat improvements, the influence changes and stuff like that. I think they're going to be like incredibly positive overall, but I don't see anything that will basically either stop people leaving or bring people back. It's not that kind of patch. Only in summer do I see something that I think might actually get people to come back to the game. Not just Transmog, although Transmog will be very interesting. It's actually the Sandworm Elite trial that I'm actually most interested in. That will make the end game feel a lot more complete. People might actually want to come back and do that. That feels like real new content, not just an expedition, but a new type of mode. That will get people to come back. I also think about that time, we'll start learning about what's coming out at the end of this year. Maybe it'll be an expansion, maybe it'll just be something like the Brimstone update. We don't know, but we do know they are planning something major towards the end of the year. And they said they would announce it around summertime, basically. So for me, summer's where this game's going to like kick up again. Now, if you're AGS, then you hope that Throne and Liberty probably launches before this. You want Throne and Liberty to come out as soon as possible, and then you get the hype back for your game towards the end of the year. However, if Throne and Liberty ends up getting delayed or something like that, and they end up clashing, then it could be bad news for AGS and New World. The hype of the new MMO is a lot stronger than a little bit of an update for your existing MMO. Now, they could try and match it with an expansion, but let's not talk about that too much here. So I don't see anything major that's going to change it. Don't get me wrong, I'm very excited for the changes, like the combat changes. I'm very excited for the influence changes. I'm very excited for. There's a lot of stuff that I'm looking forward to, gear set storage obviously being a big one. I just don't see that being something that's going to like save the game. Not that the game needs saving. The game doesn't need saving because it's not going to die. It's pretty standard in MMOs that content is the thing that brings people back. If you don't add any new content, then why would people be playing your game right now? And there's a whole conversation there about whether or not you have a theme park game versus a sandbox game. Theme park, you sort of have to deliver more and more entertaining things, whereas a sandbox, you're sort of saying, hey, you guys be the content. And New World sort of tried to go from sandbox to theme park. Maybe they're not ready with that content pipeline. Maybe it might feel a little bit slow for players going forward, or maybe they are prepping something massive at the end of the year and we'll all be excited and all hyped again. I'm banking on that being true, but I'm very much aware that it might not be. I have underestimated them and been wrong a few times. Hopefully I'm not in this case. So yes, the play numbers will drop, and I think they will continue to drop for the next 4 or 5 months minimum, and then I think we might see a steadying of the ship. I of course will be following along with New World no matter what. Even if I end up playing Throne Unlimited, guys, I'm still going to be following and making New World news videos and guides when that actually is relevant, right? So if you do want to support me in that endeavor, you can come and support me over on Patreon or on a YouTube membership. Either way is fine, you both get the same kind of reward, or you can come and give me a follow over on Twitch, or if you really want to, you can help me get to 1,000 subscribers over on Jay Evenly. That would be very delicious. What I hope you definitely do though is have a beautiful day, like and subscribe. Goodbye.